Monks and Dunks podcast episode 2.
Here we are again, part 2 of the ayahuasca journey.
And last time on Monks and Dunks.
Not last time, because you never know if you might go back to...
No, I'm just recapping.
Year.
I'm just recapping. It's
yeah.
like Dragon Ball Z voice. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, last time we left off with you finishing the second ceremony. And a lot of interesting insights and discoveries within yourself, going deep in your own psyche and your heart. And now we're going to finish off.
I believe last time we were talking about session 2, the second night.
Right.
I was there. So now I guess I'll move on to session 3. And while after we were done recording, I thought I actually remember that I left out one vital, not really important to the experience, but to me it seemed like a really cool moment that I had. And so I mean, I think I explained in the past episode that we weren't I wasn't sitting with my brother and his, that's really sunny here, but yeah, I wasn't sitting together with my brother and his girlfriend. Right. So I really wanted to hang out with them because I was in like a dark place. Right. So I was like, oh man, I wish I was chilling with them, and all of a sudden, I guess I astral projected out of my body.
So take us through that. Like what happened? You're sitting in your own. I'm sitting in like a half lotus position. Right. And then. And you're across of your brother. No, they're separated. There's like three or four people separating us. Yeah, so you're kind of 20 feet away. Yeah, we're about 20 feet away, right? So. But you can see them with your. I can see them. With my eyes. Yeah, with my eyes. But all of a sudden, I felt like I left my physical body, and I was sitting in the same position. I just projected where I wanted to be, and I was right in front of them. And the craziest thing is, I thought I was tripping balls at this point. Right. I was tripping balls. Like, no, this is just a hallucination. Yeah. No, it's not, because I looked into their eyes, man. I looked into Kat and Richard's eyes, and they were right there, and they were shocked to see me. And I guess in their mind, what was going on was they were probably like, "Oh, we're hallucinating." Yeah, I think that's what that's what people think. I mean, the whole trip is kind of it's like it's a blurry hallucination, dream-like state, right? Yeah. So, but this felt real. Oh man, this felt I mean, the whole thing felt real, but it's not some bullshit you made up in your mind. No. Like, I'm there now. Like, just make it work. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I mean, it was crazy because so after that night that I astral projected, they asked me. I thought I was just hallucinating about them, about me astral projecting and seeing the look on their face, right? So it's kind of like if I have a dream and in a dream I visit you. Yeah. I'm only thinking that only happened to me. Yeah, exactly. You didn't know anything about it. What if I came up to you and dude, like you visited me in a dream? Yeah, and they're like, holy shit, dude. It'd be like, oh, something happened. What is that, man? You know? So they asked me too after. Richard was just like, hey, real quick, like a joking voice. He was like, hey, real quick, brother, did you by any chance astral project? And I was like, well, yes, I did. And Kat was like, see, I told you he did. So I was like, wow, that's crazy, man. You know, like, I guess ayahuasca, what it does besides heal you physically is it unlocks certain potentials that we have. Yeah. I think we all have this certain like power, quote unquote power, is inherent with us. But it's so buried underneath the everyday mundane bullshit. Yeah. It's society kind of dulls it. Yeah, it needs to be untapped. Yeah. And it needs to be revealed. Yeah. So yeah, that's crazy, man. So so now like we're done with that ceremony. So we're moving on to the third ceremony. And this one is, I feel like this one was one of the most important ones for me. Okay. It wasn't the most fun. I mean, like, it wasn't flying like an eagle or walking like a wolf, but yeah, it was fun too. It's very meaningful. It was fun. Yeah. It was fun, but like it was very meaningful. Very meaningful. I mean, I came in without too much of a specific intention. My intention was like, I wanted to connect with a higher like calling, right? So I went in, took the medicine, and this night I actually decided to take double the dose of what I had from previous nights. What made you do that?
I felt like, you know what, it's gonna be like our second to the last night.
Right.
Like I kind of wanted to just really go deep, man.
YOLO.
Yeah, yeah. I was ready to just. I knew at this point that a bad trip is still a good trip. You'll learn.
Yeah.
I've already seen dark stuff the previous night.
So you kind of, your feet's wet and...
My feet's wet, I'm not really afraid of what can come, because I feel like it's a very protected space.
Yeah.
The shamans, they know what they're doing. Like, this is their job.
Yeah. So you have trust in the system.
Yeah.
So you get, okay, why not?
And it's crazy to think that this is like, I mean, like a normal, when you say job, right, a normal person, like they're making money, right? But these guys' jobs are to take you to on a journey and protect you spiritually, man. Take you out of this dimension.
Right.
Which is cool, man. So I doubled the dose, and then
it's definitely cool.
We're sitting, nothing's happening yet, and the Icaros happening yet. Icaros begin singing again, and then all of a sudden I felt, you'll feel strange sensations, and you'll start you'll have like visuals of what this actually is.
Yeah.
But deep where my gut was, I just started to feel like a warmth.
Right.
Like higher, like vibrational things spreading throughout the whole body.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what's Mother Aya gonna take me on tonight, right? Boom! All of a sudden, I feel my whole body like lighting up. I just visualize a bright orange light.
Yeah.
Just like almost like Dragon Ball Z.
Super Saiyan.
Like Super Saiyan type deal.
Final form.
Yeah. Felt like that, and I just got enveloped by this light, and I was no longer in the bloke anymore. I mean, I could still see everyone there, but it was as if like that's just that dimension, man. It's just the third dimension.
Okay.
So I was in this different realm that opened up for me while I saw my physical body was still there too.
Yeah. So did you see your physical body from an outer perspective, or were
it was all one. It was all one. Like this higher version of me.
It's like an ego death / expansiveness.
Expansiveness, I guess that's the best way to explain it. It was like an oceanic.
So you were in the bubble, and then you became the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so and while I was doing this, I was sitting in a lotus. Excuse me. I'm actually gonna get like a t-shirt to the sun's real bright, man. Excuse me. Sorry, guys.
So, while Pat's getting his thing to cover his head, because it's super sunny, I'm going to talk about his... Actually, I'm not going to talk about that. We're just going to pause right here and cut the clip.
Alright guys, I got my hoodie. So... Where were we again? We were talking about the
expansiveness.
The expansiveness. And those are my notes, man. Like it was this bright orange light.
Yeah.
It just started taking over, and then inside of that orange light, there was like a pure white light shining from, I guess you could call like the spinal column almost.
Yeah.
Or like where the heart center is too.
Right.
And it was just pure white, man. And from there, I realized I started to have like what you said, an ego loss. And from this point, I call it like a point, I guess, a point in time, in space-time. I started shifting, man. I started to see like, almost like a snake, like a worm. Like I saw this point, but I saw it started to travel backwards in time and also forwards in time and branch off into different potentials, I guess you could say. Like.
So what was traveling?
Me. I was.
Okay. You're time traveling.
My essence. I was almost like it was time traveling. Like
your spirit.
I was. Yeah. It's like, imagine if the point that brought you here right now, there was only one path you took, because to take that path you had to be here. But everything that happens from here, like this moment now, it forks. It starts forking.
Right. You could either go left or right.
Anywhere, but I saw all these different paths, and I saw the outcomes of these different paths too.
Okay.
And, that it was, I guess it was telling me that, like, the future, man, like destiny is it's up to you to control, man.
Right.
There's certain factors that will affect decisions, like your personality or like life factors, but anything can be changed, man.
Right. So it's not all set in stone.
It's not all set in stone.
But do you think that there are some destined truths?
Yeah. I mean, it's not to say that destiny isn't real. There's no destined truths, but the path you choose to take, like say like the path with like fear or love, which we talked about previously. it'll totally take you on different paths.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
But it's what you do and which path you take. And so like this helped me visualize like all these different paths.
It's like, do you use the sword or use the heart, right?
Yeah.
So.
And so I started to connect with this. I mean, if you were to, the best way I could explain it is this, I started seeing myself as this big connected entity.
Yeah.
And I wasn't me anymore. It was just this thing traveling through space-time, the snake. Yeah. It's like a Donnie Darko, if you ever watched that movie before.
No.
Oh, it's, or like Interstellar almost, you can say that. Yeah, it was like a little Interstellar.
So there is like a little bit of, what do you call that, oh man, I'm coming blank, but the multiple, what do you call that?
Are you talking about
parallel universe?
Parallel universes.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, but I didn't experience like parallel universes per se.
But it's in that.
But I could see how like when people are saying like parallel universes, like there's still, like I guess there's the term quantum entanglement where everything's like quantumly interconnected. And I guess you could say that it's everything's connected. Yeah. That's one. But we just, back in our 3D versions of ourselves, we only see one point. Right here.
That is right now.
That is right now. And which is not, I mean, it's not saying like to not be here now. Right. But it's to say that we're like, there is a higher version of ourselves. So what I realized was, I started to come to this conclusion that, man, this is like the higher. Aleister Crowley, I think he was like, he mentioned, I used to read his stuff too. He was saying that he called this the higher guardian angel. Yeah. Some cultures call it higher guardian angel. Some people call it the higher self.
So you're able to zoom out.
You're able to zoom out, and there's like a, in the yoga class we had in New Year's. Remember Natalie? She was saying.
Yes.
Okay, look at this intention that you have. If it's material, or it has to do with the physical, go past that, and there's something behind that.
Right.
And so this is kind of like the version of ourselves. This is if you look past the physical, there is a higher version of ourselves.
There's a deeper meaning behind
this. Yeah. And I realized, like, man, this thing is like, there's like a purpose to all the madness. Right. And there's a reason why we incarnated. Yeah. There's, whether we choose to realize that this is the path that we need to live, or we choose to like put it aside and just, kind of like dull ourselves again.
Right.
It doesn't matter, man. Eventually we'll
just, it doesn't matter, because eventually you will get there. Just how long?
Eventually you will. It's just how long, right? And I guess, I mean, as Ram Dass says, one day you'll just be like, I'm fucking sick of it, man. Like, all right, when can we move on? Yeah. Eventually we all do. But it's really when we start connecting with that higher self. Yeah. And as Duncan Trussell, the great Duncan Trussell said too, right? He's like, we're fucked once we do, because there's no going back, man. Right. There's no going back, man.
Well, it's a scary thing, man. Yeah. It's a lot of people are scared to fail, but more people are scared to succeed, and that's the same way. In the same way, I like this thing, Maya. I like reincarnating over and over again. Yeah. And what if, they say when you stop doing that, you just become one with everything. Yeah. And that's supposed to be the baddest thing ever. Yeah. Meaning in a good way. Yeah. But that's also super scary, because
it's scary just because it's unknown. It's the unknown, right? But I mean, it makes sense that that's eventually the next evolution.
Right. But are you still gonna have these joys and sorrows that we have in?
Well, like, so when I became Super Saiyan version of Pat, right. Like higher self. Yeah. When I merged with that, it was like I was, and which I'll talk about in the next part of the visions. Yeah. Like, because I meet Mother Ayahuasca. Yeah. Right. But I saw everything. My ego was not non-existent anymore, right? But there was just, it wasn't when you say like I'm all one. There's no joy. There's no fun anymore. Yeah. Oh no, man. It was there was ecstasy there. It was just pure. There's just this higher feeling of love, man. Like that transcends a physical love. Yeah. Or,
But that's also scary, because without, you know what I mean? You can't be doing this podcast if we're all one.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, maybe the eventual thing about this podcast is to to open up everyone.
Definitely.
To just wake the fuck up a little bit, but or just shoot the shit, you know.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to your next vision.
Yeah. So while I'm in this higher self version of me, I haven't left this yet, and then all of a sudden this giant anaconda appears.
Okay.
Right. Like actual like anaconda, like an astral serpent. Not
a physical anaconda.
Not a physical anaconda. Okay. This was like it was very benevolent.
Yeah.
It was just, I mean, it was in the cosmos and it just appeared to me, right? And
what color was it?
It was purple, like indigo purple.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So the shamans mentioned before too, like he had like a little the dry erase marker board.
Right.
And he was like, you know, he was like giving us like ayahuasca 101, like, oh, if you see these creatures,
that's
like,
crazy.
This is listing it like you're doing good.
Yeah.
If you see these creatures, we need to clear you out a little bit more.
Damn, man.
Karmic energies.
It's like a video game, man.
Yeah.
It's like, you know the video game before you buy the little book, the guide?
Yeah.
And then it says like, oh yeah, you encounter this, you have to.
It's kind of cool, man. It's kind of cool having the guidebook too.
Yeah.
Because like you know Pokemon, remember Pokemon?
Yeah.
Mewtwo, when you go in the cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when like.
It's very cool.
They tell you, yeah, you're gonna meet this creature.
Yeah. And then, that's how it is, right?
Yeah, it felt exactly like that. So I was like, yes.
That's cool, man.
Anaconda appeared, and all of a sudden, she just started speaking telepathically. I felt like third eye area start to buzz again. She was like, "My child, are you ready to journey?"
Right.
I'm like, oh shit! I thought I already was journeying.
Yeah.
She was like, "No, I can take you on a journey right now, like if you want." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So, I remember listening to like countless podcasts of people like hopping on dragons and whatnot. So I did do the exact same thing. I just actually like hopped on the back of this anaconda, and she started to take me back down again to where the third dimension was, and I felt my density my vibration start to lower again.
Yeah.
It's like water is the best example. You know, when you freeze it at a lower density, it starts to solidify. Right? It's heavy, right? So it's taking me through that. I felt my body start to solidify again.
Right.
And then she started coming up again, and then taking me through how a different density would feel like. And I guess you would call these dimensions, or like, I'm just saying densities because that's the best way to explain it.
So it's kind of like when water becomes vaporized. It's a gas-like thing.
It's a gas-like thing,
you float.
Yeah.
And it gets heavier and heavier.
Yeah.
The lower and lower it gets.
Yeah, exactly. So I was going through that, and like, you know, in this next density, it didn't feel like I was bound by time anymore. You know, like what I said earlier, right? I was going through that, but then after she brought me to a level above that, that was where I was becoming in more places than you can be in physically.
Right.
I guess if you could, you know,
telepathic,
yeah.
Right.
Like two places at once.
Yeah.
Or, you know, everywhere at once.
Right.
Then she kept going again, and like it was too much to take in. It was a lot of information to take in for a little ride. Yeah. But eventually it got to a point where, like you were saying, I was just one, like this cosmic.
That's what they say God, because God is everywhere. They say, and he or she is
it's everything.
It's infinite, right?
Yeah.
So
we kept going, and eventually we got. I was just still riding on her back and like watching all these different dimensions that she was taking me through.
Yeah.
And eventually it got to a point where there was just a void, man. And then there was like a bright light.
Yeah.
And a void, and from inside this void, as I like to call it.
Right.
There was just like a vibration, sound. Dude. The sound, not people saying but like a vibration, dude. It was just like I felt it like ripple throughout my whole body, and Mother Ayahuasca was like, "Are you ready to go further?" And I was like, "No."
You said no?
Yeah, I was like, this is too much, man.
Oh my god, man. Why would you say no?
No, fear, man. The fear.
Okay, yeah.
Like, it was just like, I felt like, dude, I felt like if I went there, then
you can't come back.
Can't come back.
Yeah,
like, I'm on to the next level, right?
Yeah.
And she was just like, the anaconda was like, okay, that's fine. Like, maybe
you're not ready yet.
Maybe you're not ready for it now, but eventually, one day, you'll remember this place.
Yeah.
And she was just like, everyone comes here. So all of a sudden, once I said like, she said that, and I was like, no.
Did you see you saw a void, right?
I felt a void. It was
okay.
It was.
That's very interesting because when I took mushrooms, I also saw the same void. Yeah. And once you cross it, there's no going back. I felt, and I told myself don't do it. Yeah. Because if I did, I don't know if I would come back to this body and to this dimension.
I think that's what they call the cosmic consciousness, man. And then like it's like a cycle. Like you have to ground yourself again. Yeah. And like I mean, if you still, because I felt like I still had stuff to do, man, in this dimension. Yeah. Like I have to come back and at least spread the word about this.
So what do you think if you cross it? Do you think you would just? What do you think would happen? Because I thought if I did, probably would have died.
Either one, I might come, like my consciousness might not come back to this body. I might just be crazy. Two, maybe I'm just like, maybe I'll be transcended. Maybe I'll be enlightened.
Because I thought that if you cross it, there's a chance that those things might happen. Yeah. But there's also a chance that this entire thing, just like a movie, stops.
It just stops, right?
And because you are the universe experiencing itself.
Yeah. I mean, and if if this is a holographic projection of everything, right? If this is your holographic projection,
right? And you just you exit out of that movie.
There is that possibility too that I thought about. Like, you know, a lot of possibilities and a lot of possibilities where I wasn't ready to test it yet, man.
It's so scary, man. It's so scary.
It wasn't. I mean, I wouldn't say like it was like fear, but I just felt like I wanted to go, man. But I wanted to come back here, and I have a lot of stuff to do, man.
A part of you wants to see what the other side is like, but a bigger part of you likes what you're doing now too. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, you know, if you truly become one with the universe, maybe that's what it takes. You know, you have to take that leap into the void.
Maybe it is like to reach that samadhi state, right?
But I mean, what if I like this? I like having what I like doing what I do, and
well, I feel like there's also a reason why we're incarnated in this body, so we can't just leave it like this. Like you have to go naturally, you know.
Well, who knows what that would take us, but you know, but it's very interesting. Yeah. Nonetheless.
But it was weird because instantly when I was like, nope, when I just noped out of there, like shoot, I just like hopped back, felt into its density again. Like imagine if you were to flash freeze water and then it just instantly becomes ice. I felt like that. All of a sudden, like astral just boom, like and I was just stone cold sober, dude.
You have no power.
And then nothing happened. I was looking around, it was dark, and then the shamans are singing their Icaros, and I was like, whoa, like no visions whatsoever. It's like clear.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that was the end of my night, man. And I was just like, well, so I spent the next night, I spent the rest of the night just meditating. Right. I was just clear-minded. I felt really good, man, after that. I mean, I felt like I saw more than I needed to see it in that point in time. Yeah. But I came back like saying that, I have to really get this out there for people, like this
some
world,
crazy
man.
stuff.
Yeah. Whether people believe it or not, man, like, you know.
Well, I have a feeling that people that are gonna listen to this are most likely are interested in this already. So
yeah. Well, just to end this this session 3, the third night, what I felt was that, dude, love is the most powerful thing in the universe, man. That's the thing that held everything in each dimension. Right. It's the thing that held everything.
It's the thing that interlocks everything together.
Everything, man. Even that void, as scary as it sounded, it was love, man, coming from there. But
beyond atoms.
But it was just too intense, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. It's. I mean, I haven't felt what you felt, but I know what you mean.
And I mean, back to. I mean, there was one more session left. Yeah. And that was Friday night, I believe. Okay. So I drank the, let me go through my notes real quick after refresh. Session 4, yeah, session 4, I took the same dose as session 3 as night 3, Thursday night. But, you know, the weirdest thing was I had no visions, man. After that, I had a profound understanding. I started to have
everything made sense.
Everything made sense.
Yes.
And then I just felt this inner voice telling me like, your name's Patrick, man. Like I was like, I am Patrick, but it's
so ego's back.
My ego's back, but I was like, but your name doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. Like you died last night.
Yes.
And you came back, and you just have to cherish life.
Yeah.
And so everything, I just felt, I didn't wear shoes that night. I just took off my shoes and I walked outside like barefoot. I just stood there, man.
Yeah.
Looking up. It was still it wasn't a full moon, but it was a
crescent moon.
It was no. It was a full moon the 2 nights ago.
Okay.
Before, so
what do they call it? Just phasing out.
Phasing out. Yeah. But it's still very bright, man. And I felt grounded, man. I felt like a battery. I put my feet in the dirt.
Yeah.
And I just started breathing. I was just thanking Mother Nature, man. I was just thanking her.
Super grateful.
Super grateful. I just felt at one, man. And then I felt like this warrior calling spirit from deep within me. Like, dude, I felt like there's a battle, man. Like, I felt like there's a battle that's being fought right now in the spiritual world, in the cosmos.
Between love and fear.
Yeah, and it's like, I have to get this, man, out from the Amazon.
Right, to help the battle.
This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing with this.
Gotta help the fight.
Yeah, help the fight, man. There's like a constant fight that's fighting. You can't win it, but you can only like choose sides.
Yes.
You can only choose a path, you know.
Are you a Jedi or you're a Sith?
Jedi, man. Never choose the Sith way, man. It won't end well. It won't end well. But, you know, like back to Star Wars, you know, like, and back to props to Nick Gabriel for getting me on this path, but he spoke about Star Wars.
Yes.
You know, and this realization on the 4th night, I started having all these realizations too. I'm like, man, dig deep behind every story, behind every myth, you know, behind every legend that there's the underlying story, man.
Yeah.
It's an underlying story. It's just that same battle. It's like when Yoda is training Luke. You still have to watch Star Wars.
So I haven't seen Star Wars, but I've seen episode 1.
Yoda trains Luke, you know, and he's telling him, you know, teaching him about the light side, and it's easy to switch over to the dark side, but, you know, you have to let go.
That's the easier route, I feel like.
Which one?
The dark side.
The dark side? Oh yeah, it's easy. It's controlled by ego. It's controlled by fear, right?
It's I don't want to call it natural side, but it's easy. It's easier to be angry. It's easier to do evil things.
Very.
And it's harder to be just.
Yeah.
And to fight for justice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, you know, I started seeing all that, and I started going through my head like all the stories I've heard, all the myths.
Yeah.
Even like the Epic of Gilgamesh and everything.
Right.
There's that underlying theme too, and if you just look at nature too, like everything is connected, man. Everything is alive, and ayahuasca. I mean, to cap the 4th session, like what ayahuasca is it's Mother Nature, man, trying to manifest itself to heal the world, because we've lost touch. We've lost touch with what. I mean, most people don't even connect with the earth anymore. Like, they just take it for granted. They walk on the floor, they walk on the ground, and they just don't have that connection.
Especially if you live in a major city and you work in an office.
Exactly.
And it's really hard. I don't blame those people.
Yeah, I don't blame them either. I mean,
it's very hard.
You gotta eat too.
Yes.
You know?
It's very hard to, because you're stuck in that rat race, and then you're in the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a meditative practice,
which majority of people don't.
They don't,
honestly.
So
I mean, I like to think that it's growing, but no, it's only a small group of people.
Yeah, it's growing because it seems like it's growing because we are into it.
But honestly, it's more accepted though now.
It is.
It's a lot more accepted, which is cool.
But I think it's very hard for people to just stop and reflect and to think about the things that they did, or just not to think at all, just to be in silence.
Yeah.
You know, we have to.
Well, don't you think that's where a lot of the problems stem from? Like, a lot of this problem we see in the world because people just lost touch already. And
yeah, definitely.
Well, I feel like this is why ayahuasca is like blowing up right now.
Yeah, it needs the world needs medicine, and that's what ayahuasca is here to do. It's here to cure sickness. And if you have a sickness or not, it's beneficial. But I mean, it's not for everybody.
No.
I think there's different medicines for different people.
Yeah.
But it definitely helps a lot, I think. And if everybody would have a psychedelic experience as profound as yours, or not even that profound, maybe just
a little bit of Dimitri, a little bit of DMT, or
maybe even like a third of his profoundness for everybody, it would change the world, man.
Yeah.
We would live in a different place.
Yeah.
But now our governments and a lot of people just in traffic in general are controlled by, they're reactionary. So all they do is they react to things instead of just stop and think, okay, like I can either do A or B.
Yeah.
Like should I choose? What should I choose? Instead, they just go straight to one. The
automatic response that controls them,
and that's a very reptilian response.
Well, they do. That's why they call it the reptilian brain, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, reptilian brain it's good in some aspects, but
it's so like what Aldous Huxley, he spoke about this before too, right? He said like that the brain is devised to, we're humans, we're physical, so like you need it's built for survival.
Yeah.
Because without that, you're not getting food.
Right.
But if you were to just put that aside for a moment, you'll be able to see the world differently.
Yeah.
Because you won't be on survival mode.
Right. And I think that if everybody had a vision that, like yours, to use the heart instead of the sword, then our world wouldn't be so fear-based.
Yeah.
A lot of these terrorist attacks and laws and things like that are in place, or they're taking part based off of fear.
Maybe this stuff, maybe the reason why like the internet is becoming a powerful tool for spreading change, and also like things, I mean the internet is spreading like a vine, just like ayahuasca spreads like a vine. Like maybe it's just trying to manifest itself to kind of find balance again.
Yeah. Well, the internet I think it's interconnecting us a lot more.
Yeah.
At the same time, it has its own drawbacks, but I think it's worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
It's definitely, if the internet didn't exist, then
be archaic still.
It'll still be very archaic, but I mean, a lot of things cannot be done. But the internet itself is very psychedelic.
Yeah. It's a portal, man.
It's a portal. It's a vine. It connects people, and also spreads knowledge and everything else. But so it's been a few months since you came back from Peru. You went last August, in August of 2015. It is now January 3rd of 2016. We're on towards the new year.
Yep.
What are your, I don't want to say resolutions or
I mean, I'll tell you my intention for the
intentions year. After ayahuasca. What has changed?
What has changed? Like I'm just aware of. I'm very grounded now. Like I mean, I feel like I'm in tune with, or I'm more in control of that reptilian brain that we're talking about. I just don't let fear control me too much anymore. Yeah. And I noticed. I mean, like life hasn't gotten better after doing ayahuasca. It didn't like magically get better, but I'm able to realize things that make life shitty.
Yeah.
And then just breathe through it.
Right.
And don't be so reactive, right? Yeah. And another thing is, there's an ongoing fire that got lit, man. There's like a fire deep within the heart that's like, you gotta let the light shine through, man.
Yeah.
Just gotta continue the light side.
So what are you doing in your daily practice to?
I do a lot of meditation now. So I wake up, I'm incorporating Wim Hof, but that's a different podcast.
Right. So you're doing the Wim Hof method.
Doing the Wim Hof method, doing a lot of yoga.
Okay.
Probably not as much as you, but I still do it. I make it a consistent thing. And then meditate in the morning, and also before I sleep at night.
Right.
So morning, the reason why I have to do it in the morning, even if it's not for like 20 minutes.
You used to didn't do it right in the morning.
No.
You used to only do it at night.
Only at night, but I feel like because we live in a society where we have to interact with people that haven't all done ayahuasca.
Yeah.
There's one thing you have to control in the morning first. You control yourself.
That's the only thing you can control.
You can do. Yeah. So that's why I do it. I just do it for 10 minutes.
Okay.
But at night is when I do the.
When you go deep.
When I go deep, man. I do my breath retentions at night and whatnot, and then just your normal vipassana meditations. Lately, I just started experimenting with binaural beats too, though.
Okay.
And remind me, I gotta give you some binaural beats. But amazing.
Yeah, man, it's awesome, man. That I think this year it will be. I mean, I feel like every day is a new start of a new year.
Yeah.
Every day can be a new start. I don't feel like, just because the number changed on the calendar, things are different.
And as you get older, you start to realize that nothing's different with the number, and so you should.
It's just a number.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I like to say that I participate in the society, so I will go along with this silly game.
Yeah.
And it's not silly. It's a game that I participate in. I'm a part of the society, so
yeah.
But I think that's great, man, that you're starting off this new year with so much bullets in arsenal. Love bullets. You play a video game and you have hearts. That's your health.
Yeah.
And you're starting off with a lot of hearts, man. And as you go on, then you can. As you go on throughout the year, you learn more things, and your arsenal will start growing. And I feel like this is just the beginning,
Yeah.
So
it's I don't know. I feel like there's hope in the world, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hope in the world.
That's another thing to be optimistic about the world.
We have to be, otherwise you just give up, man. You give up on the fight once you lose hope.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the human race, man. There's always hope.
Yeah.
Because that's really what the meaning of the new year is. It's people getting hope again. People have resolutions because.
But to bring it back to that, to be pessimistic is so easy because all it starts is judgment, man. Judgment it just starts leading to
I don't think that. I think that there's always going to be judgment.
Yeah, but you just gotta keep it.
You have to curb it though. You really have to be mindful of it and just catch yourself judging. And when you do, drop it, man. Just let it go, man.
Yeah.
Just let it go, and you'll feel so much better, dude.
Small things, man. Small, as I said previously, small parasites. Yeah. You gotta just view them as bugs.
Impurities,
or you gotta view them as living entities,
right?
Or like parasites that crawl around, and you just gotta don't stomp on them. You don't have to stomp on them and kill them.
Just let it go.
But just brush it off and be move on your way.
Right.
Because the instant you start battling with it and you try to kill it, or you let it take over you, that's when you become a Sith, man. It's easy to become a Sith. Every day is a battle between becoming a Sith or a Jedi, man.
Yeah,
every day.
That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
And man. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, that's pretty much it. I think that sums up my first ayahuasca journey. This notebook is gonna have there's a lot of empty space, but it's gonna be filled up in the future with more experiences.
Thank you so much, man, for sharing this with us, and
no problem.
Trying to enlighten people one day at a time, one person at a time. And if you like this podcast, please subscribe. Please give us a good rating on iTunes or Stitcher or YouTube, wherever this podcast will be.
Yeah.
Super optimistic about this podcast.
Spread the love.
Spread the love. And till next time. Peace out, man.
Peace out. Namaste, guys.
Oh.